Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm Dan H and welcome to the project. Now right now we're going to do a complete walk around of this 2001 Jeep Cherokee XJ that we're calling Project Beach Jeep. This will be the before walk around so you guys can see where exactly we're starting from. Now at the moment, the story of this Jeep is still unwritten. I have a general idea of where I want to take things, but I'd really love to include you and I really want your input. So as we go through this, please remember to leave any suggestions, any recommendations, any ideas for parts. Put it all in the comments. Let's build this thing together. Alright guys, we're making Project Beach Jeep to drive on this. So here it is. I present to you Project Beach Jeep. This Jeep has seen better days. Let me show you a couple pictures of what those better days look like.
This is the time to remember, 'cause it will not last forever. These are the days.
So that was about 2012 and this is now. So right off the bat you can see this classic chipping, peeling, clear coat. Now we're going to address that when we do the body work, which will fix up all these dents and a little bit of rust that's in the door jambs and on the hatch. It's not too bad. It's to be expected from a car this old, especially in the Northeast. We got tons of salty air from the beach, and we also got salt on the roads in the winter. So we'll probably end up using the stock color. I believe it's Silverstone Metallic. Either that or a similar gray to this color. I'd actually like to do a do-it-yourself rattle can video. See if I could get a professional job out of a rattle can. That would be interesting. So yeah, I'll give it my best to do a nice paint job on the top half. And on the bottom half, I like to do like a monster coating or a Line-X. We'll use that textured material on the grill, probably on some of the raised parts of the hood, front bumper, the rear bumper, the front trim, and everything below this body line right here. If you guys have had any success with any of those products, let me know. So check this thing out. This is a 1997 to 2001 Jeep Cherokee XJ limited edition Orvis spoiler. This was only included on the Orvis editions in the UK and it was not made in the United States. I learned about this spoiler back in 2006 on the forums. A guy by the handle Urban Yan had a post saying he gave his XJ the Orvis treatment, and it included this spoiler and a couple hood vents that looked like they were from a Grand Cherokee. I loved it, I thought it was awesome, but I could not find it anywhere. I checked the forums, I checked eBay, and nothing. How I ended up getting it was, I went on eBay UK and I put a search reminder in for a Cherokee Orvis spoiler. And it took about 3 years. In 2011, one popped up. It was being sold by a factory surplus warehouse in the UK, and there was one available. And when I got it, all the instructions for installation were in German. The glue it came with was completely dried up, and it had no screws or templates or anything. Now this one right here is factory surplus from the company who installed them on the original Cherokees. Now if you guys want one, I still think they make aftermarket versions. I was able to find one last year on eBay. I put it on my black Cherokee. So this build is actually for my wife, so a lot of the parts on it are going to be by her request, including a front bumper with a winch. We're going to go with some type of running board. Definitely running boards so the kids could jump in. And moving to the back, we're going to want a rear bumper with a spare tire that swings open. And want a roof rack. Let's check out inside. Yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of parts from the Porch Jeep in here still. Yeah, I'm going to clean this out and we'll get right back to you. So one of the things I scored for Project Beach Jeep is this rubber floor mat from a 2001 Cherokee police model. This is going to be perfect for the beach because all the sand will be able to be vacuumed up and not get stuck in the carpet. 2 Jeep builds ago, I built a police model XJ for my brother. And I saved this for my beach Jeep. Alright, we can see a little better on the inside now. Let's see, we got the dash half torn apart. I might take this out completely just to get to the heater core box and replace the heater core and the AC evaporator. Since it's all out, might as well do that now. So interestingly enough, when I first got this Cherokee, it was labeled as a limited. I thought it was a limited, but then I ended up running the VIN, and I think it really came down the assembly line as a classic. It had the heated leather seats, or vinyl if you will, which I know was on the limiteds. But it didn't have the heated mirrors, and it didn't have the cruise control. I ended up adding those later on. So because the VIN said it was a classic, and some of the options were more consistent of having a classic, I'm pretty sure it was a classic. So this thing had the heated leather seats that were powered, but I really don't want to put leather seats in a beach Jeep because it's going to be way too hot to sit on leather. I want to find some really nice cloth seats, and I want to put the cloth seats on the power seat frame. Now, because this Jeep is already wired for heated seats, I still might put a seat heating element in the cloth seats. So in these Cherokees, you cannot fit a 2-din head unit. That's something I always wanted to do. I was inspired by Martin Built on YouTube. I saw that he cut out some of the pieces in here and he successfully fit a 2-din head unit. So that's going to be one of the projects for this beach Jeep. Going to get a 2-din head unit with a ton of speakers. I'm going to want to play some music on the beach. So that's going to happen. So up under the tailgate, this Jeep is going to get 2 speakers just like I did in the black Jeep. I'll show you a picture of that right now. So one thing my wife wants more than anything is for me to put a sliding rag top on this thing. I know there's a company that makes sliding rag tops for Cherokees, but I think they're like $800. It's definitely not necessary at the moment, but she really wants it, so it might be one of the last things we do. That and the half doors. But if it's a beach Jeep, that all makes sense. There's not many features between the Classic and the Limited that's not interchangeable. You could do the heated mirrors, you can add an overhead console, which this had also. So since these Jeeps are plug and play, you can even add your own cruise control. I added these buttons, a clock spring, and the vacuum pump under the hood, and I put the cruise control in myself. It's really easy to do. You gotta have a steering wheel puller, and the only thing you have to make sure is that the buttons are for your corresponding year Cherokee. They had different resistances in the buttons. Just try to keep the years matching. So what I have prepared for you today is a Cherokee engine bay full of rust and grime. Alright, so right off the bat you're going to notice this thing. This thing was my version of a Spectre performance intake. I believe they were discontinued some years ago. So before they made the Thor cowl intake, and after the Spectre was discontinued, I made my own out of PVC. The filter is up under the cowl next to the wiper motor, jammed in there. It's pretty rigged, it really worked well. It kind of doubles as a snorkel, and I'm gonna try to either improve on my design or just go with the Thor cowl intake. I might just go with that. Let's see what else we got here. Some other mods I made. I made room for a dual battery. I never actually put it in. I bent up the computer. I got it a little higher and out of the way. You won't be able to do that if you have ABS, because this is where the ABS pump goes. So I just made my own brackets, and I was able to move the computer out of the way and put another battery tray in here. Also took another factory fan and kind of wedged it in here. This Cherokee had an issue with the cylinder 3 overheating. I think it's the heat soak issue. It looks like it had that recall where they add that stupid useless heat shield. Doesn't do much. I think a good fix for that is to wrap your fuel rail in heat tape and also upgrade to the 4-hole injectors. That should make it flow a lot smoother. What else under here? I had installed in this Cherokee the extended idle button, so that's going to be returning for Project Beach Jeep. I also had installed a electric fan override switch. I think that it throws a check engine light. I disconnected that shortly after I put it in because I was tired of the check engine lights. So we're going to have AC on Project Beach Jeep, onboard air so I could reinflate my tires. So I know this Cherokee is going to be running hot out there on the beach all day. I'm definitely going to want to do the extended idle. Definitely going to be doing a high flow water pump. I'm probably going to do an electric fan. Anybody has any electric fan suggestions or radiator upgrades, feel free to let me know on that, because we're going to want some hardcore cooling going on here. Also have ZJ hood vents from the 5.9, I believe it is. Gotta put those in. And that's about it for the engine. Pretty soon she's coming out. Now here is the 4.0 we pulled from the parts car. I am super excited to get this in Project Beach Jeep. And if you look, it's got the good Tuppy head in there. There you go, T-U-P-Y, Tuppy, stamped right in the head. So the guy we bought this from said he did the Tuppy head at about 100,000 miles, which is usually the mile marker when the heads went on the 2000 and 2001 Cherokees. For some reason they had some crappy casting and the head split. So it was crashed at 130,000. The guy had the head done at 100,000. That means this head gasket was done at 30,000 miles. We should be good to go. Now that it's out, we've got easy access. We're going to do all the work to this one. The water pump, the oil pan gasket, valve cover gasket, oil filter gaskets. We're going to do the rear main seal, and it will be a leak-free Cherokee. Stoked. So the front end of this thing is totally stock, regular Dana 30. This Cherokee has the low pinion Dana 30. 2000 and 2001s. They were low pinions. I think they're stupid. But what I did was, I already scored a high pinion Dana 30 for the front. Now I'm not doing any rock crawling. This is just going to be cruising on the beach like an overlander. So a factory Dana 30 high pinion should be plenty for me. So stay tuned for a front end build. That's coming soon. Alright, back underneath. So on this Cherokee I did a 2-inch budget boost. That's urethane spacers sitting on 8-cylinder ZJ springs. That gave it some nice lift in the front. But what we're going to do is we're going to go for a 4.5-inch long arm lift. We're also going to get some big tires. No specific wheels, tires combination yet. Any suggestions or recommendations, let me know. What I might try is putting on 2018 Ram 1500 wheels. I might be acquiring a pair of those shortly. A buddy of mine got a nice new truck and he is going to upgrade his wheels. So we're going to see if they're going to fit on here. So here we have the Chrysler 8 1/4 rear end. This Cherokee already has the disc brake conversion. I did that a few years ago. We're going to freshen that up. Not too bad on the rust. We got Old Man Emu heavy duty leaf springs, and they're sitting on lifted shackles. So I think the 4.5-inch long arm lift will just replace the whole leaf spring system, make everything new and shiny. And here we have the NP231 transfer case that we pulled out of the parts car. This is the command track transfer case. So I'm going to take this NP231 transfer case and I'm going to do a slip yoke eliminator build. Right now Beach Jeep has the NP242 transfer case, the Select Track. I think what I'll end up doing is pulling the Select Track transfer case out of this Jeep and clean it up and save it for the black XJ. That also has a Select Track transfer case, and I guess it's good to have a spare. A couple reasons why I'm taking the Select Track out of this and putting the command track in this is, well, one, because the command track's already out and I can put the SYE in, and two, I heard the command tracks are more reliable in off-road use. So there you have it. Alright, so I think my best approach for conquering Project Beach Jeep is to do it in phases. Phase 1 is going to be in the engine bay. I'm going to do the engine, transmission, transfer case. I'm going to clean the engine bay, paint the engine bay, going to do the water pumps, the fans, all the mechanical aspects of the Jeep we're going to conquer in Phase 1. Then Phase 2, I'm going to move over to a lift kit. Going to try to do the 4.5-inch long arm lift and any other suspension needs. Phase 3 will probably be the exterior and paint, and then Phase 4 will be accessories, light bars, roof racks, and any other additions we're going to need. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great build. We're going to cover everything. I'm going to document everything, and again, your feedback would be great. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Remember to like and subscribe. Put any suggestions, any recommendations in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next project.